This is 5 minutes of the Gospel, and we're looking at Mark chapter 1, verse 21 through to 28. They went into Capernaum. Now we can only assume this is Jesus, James and John and Peter and Andrew. And immediately on the Sabbath, he entered the synagogue and began to teach. And they were amazed at his teaching, for he was teaching them as one having authority and not as the scribes. And just then there was a man in their synagogue with an unclean spirit, and he cried out, saying, "What business do we have with each other, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." And Jesus rebuked him, saying, "Be quiet and come out of him." Throwing him into a convulsion, the unclean spirit cried out with a loud voice and came out of him. They were all amazed, so that they debated amongst themselves, saying, "What is this? A new teaching with authority. He commands even the unclean spirits, and they obey him." Immediately the news about him spread everywhere into all the surrounding district of Galilee. That must have been an amazing time to be in the synagogue of Capernaum. You'd have been talking about it for weeks after. Were you there when that happened? To come in on a Saturday, that time of worship, and then Jesus stands up and he teaches, and you can't take your eyes off him. You're saying there's something different about what this man is saying. He's teaching. Well, it's not just like our normal sermons. It's not just like the normal scribes. There is something different. When he says, "Don't do this" or "do this," you think, well, I better do it as quickly as possible. He's speaking with authority. And then you have this instance of this man crying out and shouting at Jesus. It says, he cried out, "What business do we have with each other, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." I mean, that must have been, the whole place must have been filled with kind of emotional tension. What's going to happen next? And Jesus says, "Come out of him." And he convulsed, and the evil spirit left him. It must have been just a phenomenal place to actually have been there at that instance where Jesus comes in. It's interesting when Paul, I think it's in Corinthians, he says, "When I came amongst you, I didn't come with wise and persuasive words, but I came with a demonstration of the Spirit and its power." And here Jesus, he comes with authority in his teaching, but he comes with a demonstration of the Spirit's power. Jesus came, he demonstrated, he taught and he demonstrated. It's good teaching practice, isn't it? To actually teach a bit and then demonstrate it. That's exactly what Jesus did. So often in our churches we have teaching, but Jesus had teaching with a demonstration of the power of God. And it says at the end, immediately the news about him spread everywhere into all the surrounding district of Galilee. Hey, when the power of God is moving, you don't really have to do much advertising. People just want to see what's going on. People want to be there to see what's going to happen next. How we need a move of the Holy Spirit, and people who will have the Holy Spirit so work in their hearts and cause them to walk in holiness so much that they not just speak the truth, but they demonstrate too the power of the Holy Spirit and what God is really like.